This is not going to be an easy video for me. And I've already tried to record it a couple of times and it's just not coming out the way that I want to. So here it goes. I have wanted to talk about this since I started thinking about doing this series. This was one thing that was really important to me to share. And it's what I call the year of firsts. The first birthday, the first holidays, the first, 1 year anniversary of their passing. And how I maneuvered through it in the hopes that someone who's either going through it or has gone through it feels a little bit more peace about that time. For me, during the first year, the first month anniversary of his passing, the second month, the third month, I would inevitably wake up at the same time that we lost him without fail, every, month, 2 month, 3 month anniversary. And it would just, his last moments would just replay in my head over and over again. His first birthday. For me, one thing that I have to remember is that he was a twin, and his twin sister is still here. And what I did was that I tried to separate the two, to give her some semblance of a celebration, even though it was a really difficult day for all of us. Because this year he would have been 16, and she's going to be 16. So how do you navigate that? How do you celebrate on a day where no one wants to celebrate? And we went out to his graveside that day. And for a long time, I had a phobia about going out there. I could not even drive by the cemetery, and it's very close to my house where I live. Couldn't even do it. Couldn't even look at it. Because when I would, I'd come back, and that night I'd have horrible nightmares. Trying to dig him up. And that's something that I've never told, with the exception of a few people, I have not told them that I'd have these nightmares of, trying to dig him up from the earth, from his grave. But I worked through it, with the help of therapy. I am in therapy still, and I will be in therapy for a long time. That helped me work through that phobia. And now I can go out there, but still it's only about once a month. That's not my son. And that's one thing that I finally realized, working through that phobia. That's not my son. That's a place for family and friends to mourn him and remember him, but that's no longer my son. The first holidays. Christmas used to be huge for us. My kids would give me a hard time because I was one of those people that started listening to Christmas music like the day after, Halloween. And my kids would be like, Mom, really, we need to at least wait till after Thanksgiving. This is way too soon. Could not listen to any Christmas music that year. I'd decorate the house, I'd decorate the outside. I couldn't put up anything in the house. I barely put up a string of lights outside. And ended up buying this little Charlie Brown fake tree, just for the kids, for his brother and his sister, just to have, so the house didn't look completely empty. The first anniversary of his passing. Celebrating my birthday is never going to be the same. I no longer look at my birthday as that day. I look at my birthday as that's the last day that I had with my son. I'm trying to start a new tradition where I celebrate it early. My best friend and I are celebrating it this month, so that when August comes, it's not something that I feel like I have to do. And pretty much for me, the beginning of August to December is really difficult because it was the beginning of August that he started going downhill. And then you have his passing, his birthday, the holidays. That section of time is very difficult for me. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this video is that I used to feel a lot of guilt and a lot of shame for being sad, for grieving, for being public with my grief. I don't feel that way anymore. If someone has a hard time with emotions, hard time with sadness, that's not on me. That's on them. That's something that they need to deal with. It's hard enough to move through these anniversaries, especially the anniversary of his passing, because you almost kind of develop this PTSD. I truly feel I have PTSD, and that was one of the reasons why I kept waking up, the first month, the second month, the third month, because it takes a long time for your body to let that trauma go. It's just become so used to being in that space and the stress and the fight or flight that it has a very difficult time recognizing that you're not in that space anymore. I will say this probably multiple times. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to do those things. Be gentle with yourself. Go easy on yourself. Don't feel bad about being sad, crying. Don't feel bad about it. You need to do that in order to work through this, to work through the grief process. You have to let these emotions out. Because if you don't, they just will sit and fester until it gets to the point that it becomes such a huge thing. You pretty much have a breakdown. I experienced that at one time too. I just kept holding it in. And then there was just one day where I felt like my emotions exploded because I was holding it in. I was trying to put on a good face for everybody and pretend like I was okay when inside I was dying. I was really hurting. And after that experience, I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't feel bad. I'm not going to feel bad about the way I feel. I realize this video is a little long. I'm sure I have so much more that I could say, and I may do a couple more videos on it, but it just was something that I really felt that I needed to share. As always, thank you for listening, and I will see you soon.